Welcome, everyone. Let's dive right into this explainer, because right now there is an absolutely massive shift happening in how businesses are handling their ever-growing workloads. We hear the word automation tossed around all the time, often like it's this brand new magical game changer. But let's be real, we've relied on automated systems for years. What's actually changing, and changing incredibly fast, is the underlying technology powering it all. You've probably felt these changes in your own industry, right? Customer expectations are just skyrocketing. People want faster, smarter, and way more personalized service. And at the exact same time, internal workloads are heavier than ever before. So it really begs the question, can our current established systems actually keep up with all this dynamic pressure? Are the tools we installed, say, 5 years ago, really still up to the task today?
Well, to answer that, we're going to set up a head-to-head showdown between two very distinct approaches. On one side of the ring, we have traditional automation. These are the rigid, rule-based systems of the past. And on the other side, we have the adaptive, intelligent AI agents of the future. Now, both of these are going to improve efficiency, absolutely, but they behave in fundamentally different ways. Understanding that difference is absolutely critical for your bottom line, your team's productivity, and your customer experience.
Here is our roadmap for today's explainer. We'll be hitting 1. The new automation challenge. 2. Traditional rule-based automation. 3. Adaptive AI agent systems. 4. Comparing the two approaches. 5. A framework for business decisions. And 6. The future of automation. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The new automation challenge.
So, the core issue we're facing isn't that our old tools just suddenly broke overnight. It's that the business environment essentially outgrew them. Workloads are expanding at a blistering pace, and customers are constantly demanding more from us. To actually fulfill these rising demands, automation simply had to step up. It had to become smarter and much more capable of handling environments that refuse to stay static. We need tools today that don't just blindly execute, but actually keep pace with constant dynamic change. Moving on to Section 2, traditional rule-based automation. Think of traditional automation like a highly efficient, yet incredibly stubborn employee. It strictly follows a checklist, and it never, ever deviates from the plan. It thrives entirely on predictability, and its whole purpose is to generate exact, surprise-free results every single time. Its workflow is perfectly linear. It goes exactly like this. A known input comes in, which instantly triggers a predefined rule. The system then executes the automated action, and boom, you get your expected result. There is literally no thinking going on here. It is pure execution. And let's be totally clear, this checklist approach is an absolute lifesaver for repetitive work. Just look at these examples. Running payroll, processing standard invoices, or a retailer automating routine stock checks so that when inventory dips too low, the system automatically triggers a restock. Or even think about standard customer emails, where your team used to just copy and pasted scripted replies all day long. Automating these tasks cuts out massive amounts of wasted human hours and dramatically reduces errors. But, and this is a big but, here is the crucial point, and it's a limitation you really need to understand. The moment something unusual appears, traditional automation hits a brick wall. If it's a known situation, sure, automation works flawlessly. But if it's unexpected, the system struggles, it stops, and it immediately requires a human to step in and fix it. Because it completely depends on those predefined workflows. It just freezes up when it's faced with the messy reality of everyday business. Got a poorly formatted document? The system stops. A brand new type of customer request? It fails. Most businesses store massive volumes of unstructured, cluttered data. Things like free text, disorganized customer conversations, or images. Traditional automations simply cannot handle this sufficiently without an experienced human jumping in to hold its hand. Which brings us to Section 3, Adaptive AI Agent Systems. Now, we are not just talking about a software upgrade here. This is a completely different mindset. Instead of waiting around for a human engineer to write a rigid script, these AI agents operate independently. You give them a goal, and they figure out the absolute best way to solve that complex problem. They learn, they improve, and they handle nuance and context without freezing up the second things get a little complicated. Notice how this workflow expands so significantly from the traditional model we just looked at. We don't start with a fixed import and a rigid rule anymore. We start with a goal. The agent then works to understand the context and actively evaluates the situation. It makes a decision, takes action, and crucially, this is the game changer right here in step 6. It learns and adapts. It's a continuous, intelligent loop. These agents essentially have 3 superpowers. First up, autonomy. It chooses suitable actions on its own without needing permission from a rulebook. Second is learning. It's constantly gathering data and analyzing interactions, meaning it literally gets better at its job tomorrow than it was today. And third, context awareness. Instead of just mindlessly matching a keyword and hoping it fits, the system actually understands the real intent behind a request.
So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, it's pretty remarkable. Customer service teams are using AI agents to detect a caller's frustration in real time, providing a helpful, distinctly non-robotic response. Hospitals are deploying them to assist doctors in analyzing complex medical scans using rich contextual analysis. And financial institutions? They're using them to catch weird, fraudulent transaction behaviors dynamically, adapting on the fly as fraud tactics inevitably change.
Let's move to Section 4, comparing the two approaches.
At their very core, you can really boil the entire debate down to this one statement. Traditional automation says, follow predefined rules. A traditional script is going to do exactly what you told it to do yesterday. An AI agent, on the other hand, says, work toward a goal while evaluating the situation. It figures out what makes the most sense right now in this specific, unique moment.
Let's break down this showdown feature by feature. When it comes to decision-making, traditional systems merely react to triggers, while AI agents actually evaluate the context. For adaptability, if a workflow changes, traditional automation breaks and someone has to manually rewrite it. AI agents just adjust automatically, because remember, their learning never stops. When we talk about data, rigid rules struggle with the clutter of real business life, whereas AI absolutely excels with free text and mixed formats. And perhaps most importantly for your IT budgets, maintenance. Traditional automation gathers heavy technical debt over time. AI agents, they actually require lighter maintenance because they get better with age.
Section 5, a framework for business decisions. Okay, so how do you choose? The golden rule is elegantly simple. If a task repeats every single day and the data looks exactly the same every single time, choose traditional rules. Stick to what works best for manufacturing lines, payroll runs, and predictable scheduling. But if your environment is dynamic, if your operations evolve hourly, or if you are dealing with a ton of unstructured data, like in complex sales forecasting or intricate customer interactions, it is definitely time to move toward AI agents.
Now, if you are ready to start this transition, planning a smart path forward is crucial. Do not go and replace everything all at once. First, study your existing processes and know exactly where the exceptions and bottlenecks are popping up. Build a really solid data foundation because these agents need good data to learn from. Then test your AI agents in one small, contained pilot area just to prove the value. Most importantly, train your employees to collaborate with these new tools. Have them supervise the systems and monitor the efficiency, decision accuracy, and adaptability over time.
Finally, Section 6, the future of automation.
What we're seeing across all kinds of industries right now, guided by strategic insights from leaders in the space, like Mobisoft Infotech, is a massive move toward intelligent automation. And here's the secret. The goal isn't to just toss out all your old systems for new ones. It's to help them grow together. By integrating both models, using traditional automation for that rock-solid, stable efficiency, and AI agents for their brilliant adaptability, organizations are discovering an incredible, highly resilient competitive edge. I want to leave you with this really powerful thought as we wrap up. The most successful organizations understand that this next era is not about machines simply replacing us. It's about how human judgment, creativity, and intelligent agents can partner together to redefine what's possible. The AI handles the manual repetition and sorts through the complex contextual data, while humans guide the mission and supervise the outcomes. So my question to you is, how can you start building that partnership in your own organization today? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll see you next time.